Hello, welcome to the second part of the Year of Beer Greene King episode. So what we're going to talk about now is this little bottle of beer here. Now, one of the things I was very excited about when I visited Greene King was the history of the brewery, because they've got a tradition of aging beers in wood, and there's a fantastic photo in Michael Jackson's Beer Companion of these two huge oak tuns sitting up in the rafters of the building. And that's where they age this beer, the old 5X. It's a very, very strong beer, 12% alcohol. Then it goes into wood for as long as they can, usually for 18 months to make strong Suffolk vintage. They also make another version of their blended beer, Suffolk Springer, which they've actually, as the original vats have aged, they've had to replace them. So in the fermentation hall, they've got two new oak vats, and what they're doing is aging old 5X in the new vat, and they're producing a beer called Suffolk Springer, which also has a proportion of wood-aged beer in it, but the beer isn't aged as long in the wood. So it's got kind of all those characteristics of strong Suffolk vintage, but without necessarily the depth and without the content of the old beer. And so it was great going to the brewery and seeing these old vats, or the one old vat number 6, is the last one that's still in its original position. And eventually that's going to be worn out, and they'll replace that as well, and then that sort of phase of their history will be gone. So I was really pleased to go and see it while it was still there. And as we were wandering around, as we were being shown around the brewery, we got down into the kind of the basement of it, and Francis, the communications manager for Greene King, said, "Oh, let's just go back here, and you'll like this." And we went back into kind of a brick arched vault. And what they were, and I'll clip a photo onto the end of this movie, there was a fantastic brick vault with just cases and cases of beer like this on their sides. It's on its side because it was a corked bottle. And what this is, you can see it's unlabelled, it's basically beer that was brewed for the coronation of Edward VIII. So in between him acceding to the throne and his abdication, breweries all over the UK will have brewed loads and loads of coronation ale. And of course the coronation ale never got drunk because there was never any coronation. Edward VIII abdicated. He decided to marry Mrs. Simpson rather than become king. And so it's just really interesting seeing this little artefact that no doubt breweries all over the UK brewed coronation ales, and then some of them will presumably have just labelled it up as coronation ale for whoever came after Edward VIII. My history isn't my strong point. So I thought it'd be interesting to open this bottle of beer. I've been told by the brewer at Greene King, Craig Bennett, that it's they've had it analysed. It's stable. He said it's a little bit sour. He said with a little bit of a smile. And he's also said that as long as I indemnify them from any harm that comes to me by me drinking it, they're more than happy for me to take a bottle away. And so. It didn't start out as a very strong beer. It went into the bottle as about 4.5%. I think that's what they've had it analysed to show. And I'm just going to ease the cork out here. There's a little bit of crumbled cork back in there. You can see it's come to pieces. Cork is kind of blackened all the way around the edge. That means that beer has slowly seeped out and it's become oxidised and blackened. The cork is actually in really good condition, apart from being slightly dry and crumbly. I'm guessing these beers haven't been stored laid down for all of their life, although they were when they were shown to me. Just going to clean some of the muck out. And there's actually, it smells pretty good. If it's only like a 4% ABV, there's a lovely kind of amount of toffee-ish Madeira. I guess you'd expect that. It's kind of, essentially it's oxidised in the same way as sherry and Madeira is oxidised. This is the oldest beer I've ever drunk. I'm a little bit anxious about it. Alright. Not a lot of carbonation, as you'd expect from a really old cork bottle, so this is probably brewed in 1936, so about 65 years old. It's flat as a pancake. It probably won't have been that dark, sort of mahogany brown, ruby colour when it went into the bottle. That's just the effects of time have done that. That actually smells, that's incredible, it smells like really old red Burgundy. It's just got that complex sort of fruity, oxidised toffee there's a slight sourness there as well. Wow. That's actually really good. When I spoke to the brewer, Craig Bennett, about that, he sort of said, yeah, it's okay, it's a little sour. And what I thought he meant by that was, it's absolutely knackered, it's vinegar, you can have a bottle if you like. But that is actually, there's so much depth, like the effects of age on it have turned all of the malt flavours, all the sort of the fruity toffee malt flavours, toffee and dried fruit malt flavours, they've kind of sunk down and just become really, really oxidised and soft and really profound. It's almost like kind of a dark sherry flavour, just that really oxidised, the sherry rancio that they talk about. I'm surprised at how drinkable it is. There is a little bit of sourness there, but it's absolutely not what I thought it would be. It is a little bit stinky. It does kind of smell like a really old bottle. Just slightly dirty. You know, just a little bit going off, not entirely pleasant. And so this is obviously only a few minutes after the bottle's been open. But it's great. I'm amazed at how drinkable it is. There's initially on the tongue there's a very slight sweetness, and then you get the kind of brown sugar, oxidation, Madeira, sherry thing going on. But it's really deep and complex and surprisingly drinkable. It's not off in a way that's bad. It's showing the effects of 65 years in the bottle. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised by it. It's almost a slightly corked note to the nose, so maybe there's a little bit of TCA in the cork, but the beer itself is clean as a whistle. Really, really interesting, and what a privilege to be able to try such an unusual beer as this 65 years after it went into the bottle. I don't think I'm going to finish all of this, I have to say, but I will thank Greene King for their time and their generosity in letting me take a bottle of this away, bottling up some 5X for me, which we're going to open at some point in the future. Although what Craig Bennett the brewer said is that if you put a cap on it, you keep it in the fridge, it'll last forever. Basically, I'm keeping it in better conditions than they do at the brewery. So at some point over the next couple of years, this is going to get opened and drunk by an appreciative bunch of people, and I hope to document that when it happens. I'm going to go back to the hen's tooth now. As enjoyable as this is, it's slightly hard work, but I'm going to use the last of it to toast you goodbye. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Cheers now.